Hello, Norfolk enjoyers. I'm Steph.
And I'm Andrew.
And you are listening to the Norfolk and Good podcast. This is the fifth instalment episode of season 4.
Fifth episode.
But instalment sounds like sci-fi grand. Anyway, the fifth podcast that you can download of season 4 of Norfolk and Good.
That's us.
The frequency with which we've been able to record and drop these podcasts has dwindled a little bit of late.
Well, it's the summer.
Exactly. Essentially, we're not sunning ourselves on a North Norfolk beach, largely because we haven't had enough sun to do that this summer. But what with the kids off and day-to-day jobs, it's honestly just very, very hard to actually find a time to pull these together to launch them.
Not that we haven't been out and about. We have been out and about, and we will discuss that.
We are.
Later on.
The next episode is actually going to be our kind of, our summer summary.
Yeah.
Summer of what we've been up to in Norfolk, so that would be great. But this episode, we are starting now. This is obviously sort of dropping late August. This we're starting to look towards the autumn because there's still loads happening after the summer, isn't there?
It's a little bit weird. I was chatting with somebody today about that because you go out in the evenings and they are drawing in.
I know.
The evenings now, aren't they?
Is it getting dark? It's like 8:30, 9 now or something like that, isn't it?
About 8:30, I think now. It's starting to get dark, and it's very dewy on the grass.
It's felt autumnal for weeks, to be honest, hasn't it? So, but yeah, we're looking towards the autumn. There are a lot of exciting things coming up. Obviously, we've got the Foodies Festival early September, but something else we're really looking forward to in early September is Heritage Open Days.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. HODs.
Love
HODs for
a bit
those in the know.
Yeah, HODs. HODs. I love a bit of history.
Yes, a bit of local history is even better. Yeah, absolutely. It's fabulous.
Yeah.
But we don't want to sort of, we thought we'd probably get some people much better placed to talk about Norfolk HODs and introduce the whole concept, the festival, the idea. And so we're speaking to Katie and Sam from the Forum.
They're from the Forum Trust. They work at the Forum Trust, who organise Heritage Open Days.
Fabulous.
So we're here today with Katie and Sam from Norfolk HODs. And I just wondered whether, Katie and Sam, you could just introduce yourselves, tell us what you do here in Norwich.
Yeah, of course. So I'm Katie Ellis. I'm the event producer for Heritage Open Days, working for the Forum Trust in Norwich, which is the charity that looks after the Forum building in Norwich, which most people are familiar with. We coordinate mainly the marketing and the celebration of Norfolk HODs in the county.
Yeah, and then I'm Sam Joyce, and I am assistant producer of Norfolk HODs, and actually also all the events that the Forum Trust coordinates. So my role encompasses them all, but particularly Heritage Open Days.
Fabulous.
Oh, that's excellent. Yeah. So you both basically work for the Forum Trust. Is that the case?
We do. Yeah. So the Forum Trust took on the custodianship really of Heritage Open Days in Norfolk in 2016, and we've done. I think this will be our 5th year of doing it between us. So we've 3 interesting years that have gone by previously. So we're looking to coming back to a full force one this year.
Fabulous. And for the uninitiated, tell us, in real simple layman's terms, what is Norfolk HODs? What does HODs stand for? What's it all about?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we use the term HODs all the time because it's just a lazy way of saying it. But so it's Heritage Open Days, obviously shortened as HODs. And Heritage Open Days is actually a national festival, so it takes place across the whole of England every September. And basically, it's a festival that has hundreds of events included, and it celebrates the history and heritage in communities. Obviously, we're very lucky to look after or have the custodianship of Heritage Open Days in Norfolk. And obviously the best part of the festival is that every single event is free to attend.
That's amazing. That sounds like a very big remit, Norfolk and Norwich having such a wealth of heritage and history.
Yeah, it is. And actually, Norfolk is the largest participating county in the whole of England. And that's in terms of events taking place and organisers that put on these events.
Yeah, there's a lot.
There's a lot. So we're on about, we've just tipped over 300 events
Oh my
for
goodness.
Norfolk for this year, which is brilliant, and it's it's testament to all of the enthusiasm and the passion that the organisers and the volunteers have to put these on.
So many people that thoroughly enjoy getting involved and just having a go at organising something, don't they?
Yeah, they do, and I think like you say, there's it's got a huge history in Norfolk. Every county would say that, wouldn't they? But Norfolk in particular, we think so.
We love it.
I think so. Yeah, I think because of Norwich in particular has got quite a big I always use this phrase, but it punches above its weight in terms of history for the sort of small footprint of the city, because it was such an important city going back to medieval times and beyond. But so it happens is it a 2-week period? It's the 8th, so sort of 2 weeks every September. So all of those events packed into those 2 weeks, and it's free. What's your kind of, obviously you help put the programme together and run it. What's your favourite aspect? What do you love about being involved with Norfolk HODs?
I just love the variety, actually. Obviously that comes with the county we've got anyway.
Yeah.
It's got such a range of different things within the city and Norfolk, and that's what's great, is that it is across the whole county. I've always loved the fact that we can literally be at the city, and then within an hour we're at the coast.
Yeah.
We've got the Broads. We've got so much countryside and such a lovely the city's just a perfect size as well. There's so much history. And so much of it I didn't know about either. Like when I kind of started this role, things that are on my doorstep that I've grown up in Norfolk. But there's that's what I love, the variety actually of stuff that does, is able to take part in HODs.
That's a really great answer actually. And I think also what you just said there, touching on that about stuff that you've been made aware of that you were previously unaware of. So this might be tricky to answer, but so what's been one of the sort of bigger eye-openers that you weren't aware of till you started doing this role, that's like, oh my God, there's like this on our doorstep? One of those moments, is there anything like that stands out?
Oh gosh, there are probably lots of them. I think just referring back to the city, that it is Norwich is a medieval city, and you can tell by the footprint of it in certain places that is still there, and particularly with obviously the buildings that still exist here. I think one of the interesting things, we both went on one of the tours at the Guildhall in the city, which a lot of people will be familiar with this and would be familiar with the style of the building. Medieval building, lots and lots of history there relating to that period. But actually on the tour, our tour guide, John, who we love and does lots of things for us, he's brilliant. I don't know if people are aware, but it was used as obviously a magistrate's court, and there are police cells sort of underground. And we went down into those parts, and he was sort of telling us, of course, the police cells were used up until the 80s. And I was like, 1780s, 1880s? I was like, no, 1980s. Wow. And that just blew my mind that I was alive at that point. And Guildhall was used as a magistrate's court. I just couldn't believe it. That was brilliant.
And connected to that, it is actually how much is underneath the city that I always was thrown back. Like there's so much that you're just walking above.
Yes.
There's tunnels and things, isn't there, underneath us? So that's what I love.
That's really good. That's a really good answer as well, actually. And it's so true. I'm always like, I think looking down and looking up are things we forget. As it is, we barely see everything that's in front of us. But there is a surprisingly large amount of history under the surface in Norwich and also Norfolk, isn't there?
There is, and that is a really good point, actually. And it's like Elm Hill. Whenever I walk down Elm Hill, I tend to be looking down because I'm too scared I'm going to trip over the cobbles. But I do try and look up, because there are some amazing, beautiful buildings down there. And you're right, we don't look up enough. I think we do sort of, tend to look down. Everyone's in a hurry, aren't they, trying to get that way? But I think, just taking the moment to kind of look up in the city.
Yeah, me and a colleague actually went out one day for Host Open Days, just a day around the city, and it was a day where we said we're going to film everything like looking up, and it is amazing the amount you spot looking up. And even actually, like outside of the city, I was at Waterloo Park the other day, which was it takes part in HODs, doesn't it? And I'd never seen the building like from sort of further out, and the monkeys on the building.
Oh yeah.
All these like, statues and things that are attached to the buildings that we see. There's so many questions that I think these tours that actually happen as part of HODs probably would answer a lot of these questions that I've got about these little aspects of these buildings.
Yeah, because that's the thing with Heritage Open Days. It's also the people behind it and the knowledge that they have as well. Because you don't often get to speak to all these different people, and when you do, it's fascinating what they know about Norwich and Norfolk.
It is, absolutely. I think there's this sort of almost preconception of Heritage Open Days, and bearing in mind we're in the 29th year of HODs this year.
Wow.
Yes, so, sort of anniversary next year. But I think there's a sort of, there is a misconception that Heritage Open Days is just about, 500-year-old buildings that got flint walls and, that's it. But there's so much more to it. And I think, as you were saying, it's the people that are involved and it's the stories that these people are able to share. Because as much as I love looking around those buildings, for me, it's the stories about, well, who lived here, who worked here, who built it, what was this community like? And the volunteers and the organisers that put on these events have this knowledge. They've done their research. They are passionate about that particular site or that particular piece of, say, cultural heritage. And I will remember things much more if someone has told me them rather than if I've seen them written down. And HODs really provides those opportunities in those ways, I think, for people to learn, whether they're, they've lived here all their life or whether they're a visitor to the county as well. It's something that everyone can take away with them, really.
Yeah, you're so right. It is the passion so one of the things that stuck with me was a HODs we did must have been before the pandemic, I think. But it was it the Octagon Chapel? There was an organ.
Oh, yes.
There was an organ anyway, and the lady playing it was so passionate and knew so much. And it was the first time I found out about the organ factory in Norwich that used to be near Chapelfield Gardens. And then subsequently I sought out the building, which is super high and tall, because they made organs there. And it was like, she knew so much stuff. It was fabulous. It is so interesting, but it is very much, the people's passion behind it as well weaves those stories into the buildings and everything else.
I mean, I've never heard of that. So
we're experts here.
Write her down. Get her involved.
She was amazing. Seriously, she was playing it, and then she just told us all this stuff about how the organ had been manufactured in Norwich in what was an organ factory. And if you look near where the Co-op funeral parlour is,
the top of
really tall building. You don't even notice it normally because it's behind lots of other buildings. And it's tall because they made organs. And it's like, oh my God.
Fascinating.
And it's those nuggets of information, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, and it's amazing. It's like how many industries as well are actually connected to Norwich. And that you never know until these people tell you. Just like that one.
Yeah, absolutely. It really, and this sounds really super cheesy, but I am quite cheesy. It brings it to life. It really it's really, I think it's great for all ages as well, because it is educational, but in a not stuffy way, in a kind of joining the dots way, and why things are there and what things we walk past all the time that you take for granted suddenly become alive. I think it's fab. I love HODs.
Yeah, absolutely. I think with me, I've got a 6-year-old little boy, and since I've sort of done this job, each year I try and take him on something. Because I think, bringing them into history that early on as well, in ways like you say, that are just not obviously like doing it either, just subtly in fun, creative ways. I think there's a few kind of events like that in HODs that are great for children as well, aren't there? Yeah,
and I think it's a great introduction and sort of entry route into learning about history and heritage, or enjoying it. With all the events being free, it's a cost-effective way of dipping your toe, trying something that you might think is not for you. And that applies to kind of, all ages really. And that's one of the main kind of things we like to shout about for HODs, is that accessibility as well, that, there's something for everybody. there are events that you have to book onto because there's limited capacities, but there's lots of things that people can just decide in the morning, oh, we can drop into this, let's just go to this today. So a really accessible festival for tourists and for people in our own communities as well.
Do you have any idea what the sort of split is of like tourists and residents who go on these things? Do you know do we get lots of tourists doing it?
We roughly know there's a roughly even split of about 45% of people come from Norwich and about 45% of people come from further out in the county. And then we have about 8 to 10% of people that are coming from further afield, and that's generally kind of Cambridgeshire and Suffolk and Lincolnshire. So sort of from the region, and then there'll always be someone who's come from like Durham or somewhere like that, which is lovely. But yeah, it is quite difficult to tell between visitors and sort of residents of the county. But with us being here based at the Forum in Norwich, we get quite a lot of people come in as a sort of first point of contact here. So we can sort of, without doing any number crunching, just by speaking to people and asking them where they're from or hearing their accents, we know that they're on holiday here. And September is usually pretty good weather. I mean, I'm not even going to try and guess what the weather's
don't talk it up.
But yeah, it's usually good holiday weather for tourists. So yeah, we'll see this year.
Yeah, is it like you say? It's absolutely. I think the fact they're free activities. I think even if it's not like you say, you don't think it's necessarily your bag or whatever, then it's free. What have you got to lose? Do you know what I mean? And so, and it might awaken an interest in you or show you something you haven't seen before. And I think at the moment it's always quite hard to find. It's harder and harder to find free things to do. So it's a really budget friendly kind of event, basically.
Yeah, and I think there's certainly some events where people want to find out. They're looking for connections, I think. And particularly this is obviously, more so for people who live here. But there's lots of events where, so for example, we've got Marble Hall at Surrey House, which is the Aviva building, which some people might be familiar with, that do tours there, and they open up for people to just drop in at their leisure and sort of do a self-guided tour. And, it's probably everybody in Norfolk knows someone, whether it be family or friend who works for Aviva or Norwich Union, as it was. And it's that connection between the past and the present, and they kind of, want to be in a building that perhaps one of their sort of former relatives kind of worked in, or someone they knew worked in. And there's lots of little things like that, I think, that are in the programme where people are they're a little bit curious to kind of just really find those connections. And then there's the general curiosity of the sort of sneaky peek stuff where you can get into buildings and get behind the scenes of things that aren't normally accessible to the public. I mean, I'm super nosy.
So me
too. Anything like that, I'm like, I'll be there. So yeah, there's lots of that in the programme as well, which
I love that. I love that. There've been years where we've really done HODs like hard. we've done absolutely loads. Some years not so much, and some years we've just had the time to be able to do loads and loads and loads. So we've been up Mancroft's Tower. We've even rung the bells. We've been up the tower of the Catholic Cathedral. We've been to that Strangers Club place, which was hilarious. We've done. There was one year we did so much, didn't we?
They had a swear box, didn't they, in the Strangers place, didn't they?
I think what it gives, as well, though, is the chance to with me, I went to Gresson Hall Farm and Workhouse last year, I think it was, and that actually it was something that my mum came with me and my son, and I knew that we could dip into the museum part of it and have a nice kind of bit where me and my mum were looking back and stepping back into time, and there was enough there for my little boy to do and get dressed up in the old clothes and stuff, but also actually I knew then I could say, right, Ray, there's the farm, there's all the animals, and actually know that it was a free day for us.
That's amazing.
We get a lot out of it as well. So it gives us a chance to have a day out together, I think.
Yeah, that's a really good point, I think, as well, actually. Yeah, because different ages will get different things from it. And somewhere like that, like Gresson. I mean, Gresson's a fab day out. I love Gresson Hall. But you're absolutely right.
Just getting out as a family, all the generations.
It's a really nice
point.
Day. Yeah.
And the other thing, before we move on, is the way Heritage Open Days in Norfolk has developed. Because when we sort of first started going, it was very Norwich-centric. And you've mentioned this about the whole of Norfolk now. And looking at the brochure this time, well, there's too much for me to... I'm never going to get around it at all.
It's rather a lot. So I think, so when it started in 1994, when Norwich was taking part then, definitely, I think it was either just one day or it was one weekend. And then it grew to 2 weekends.
Yeah.
And then they thought, oh, well, let's just join up in the middle. And now it's just a 10-day straight festival. So the size of it has grown in that way. And then you're right, the kind of breadth across the county has developed, because I think probably, people were seeing what was happening in Norwich, and, it was great for the city, driving tourism, and really getting people engaged with where they live. And there is so much out in the county, and it is a big one to cover. But there is so much to do out in the county now as well. And it's, it is a big ask for visitors as well, because they, like you say, you might have some years where you can spend quite a lot of time going to Heritage Open Days events, and then others, you're a little bit more restricted. But I love having choice, and I think that's what the Norfolk HODs programme offers. We're, and as I say, it really is down to the organisers and the volunteers. I mean, there are professional organisations that obviously take part, so Norfolk Museum Service, across those, pretty much every museum is taking part. But a lot of the events are put on by charitable groups, sort of independent voluntary groups, sort of solo volunteers leading on something, and it's a huge undertaking to really kind of put this all together, really. So without them, the festival certainly wouldn't exist in Norfolk or across England, I might say.
I think what is really nice as well is actually you can go to kind of an area of Norfolk, and there's little collections of events in the same towns. So, for instance, it is like the one I've just mentioned, Bresson Hall. You can then, like, if you go to that, you could find like a few dotted around really close by, so you can spend part of your day or the whole day in one area.
And it's split out like that in the brochure, isn't it? Into the specific areas, which is great. Yeah, there it is.
I've been leafing through. There's so much in there that I want to do. I wouldn't get to. Honestly, I need lots of years of this to cover everything. I'm a bit obsessed with history.
We split the brochure by district, basically, so across all of the districts in Norfolk, so that if people do get want to go to Norfolk, they can just open those pages of brochure and be focused on those. And there are even more events. So there's about 200-ish events that are in the brochure, which came out in July, which has been flying out the doors, I have to say.
We've been topping them up a lot.
Yeah, we've been topping that brochure table up, but they have been available at tourist information centres and libraries across the county as well. And then there's about another 100. The final registrations closed last week, and there's going to be over 300 events.
Wow.
That's great.
So we'll encourage people to go to the website norfolkheritageopendays.co.uk, so that they can see the full programme on there and see all the ones that didn't make it into the brochure.
There's some great ones, isn't there? So I was going through them all yesterday, all the ones that on the website that haven't made the brochure. They're really good.
The last minute entries. You'll have to do a roundup of last minute entries on social media or something.
My list has gotten longer now. I'm going to not be in the office that much that week, I don't think, which is great. That's fine by me. See a lot more.
Come like the 18th, are you two basically just like, we can lie down in a darkened room now?
Very much so.
I am actually going on holiday.
You're like, HODs is over, so long. To the airport.
Yeah, there is that. We do like a nice rest afterwards.
Yeah. But it is a lovely 10 days. What I like about it is you do genuinely get to meet so many lovely people.
Yeah.
It
really does put us sort of in front of people, doesn't it?
It does. And we have for the last couple of years, just with the certain, things that have happened that have we've had to kind of sort of dial down the festival a little bit. We've not been able to go out and see as much as we would like to. So this year, we've got a real plan to go out and visit every single district and see what's going on and meet organisers that perhaps we've had phone calls with and emails, but we've never actually met in person, because
nice.
there's a good 200, so there's a lot of people, and we can't wait to do that. That's part of our role really is around supporting organisers. So we're really looking forward to that.
Now, obviously, if I'm listening to this podcast and I've only just found out about Heritage Open Days and Norfolk Heritage Open Days, do you have any tips for people who are new to sort of going out on Heritage Days?
How can we how would we join in? What should we join in? How should we go about it all?
Brochure's important, I'd say.
Get your hands on a brochure for a start.
We've done like a clash finder, haven't we? So it's making sure things don't clash.
Yeah, I like that. I saw it at the end of the brochure, isn't it?
Yes.
And you can
so it's just for Norwich, because there are a huge amount of events in the whole programme that is for Norwich. So that was something new this year, the Clash Finder calendar, to help people go, right, what can I get to if I'm in Norwich on this day? What can I get to at all the different times? So that was that's one big tip, to get hands on a brochure and use the Clash Finder calendar. As I mentioned before, there's some events that have to be ticketed. Obviously they're still free, but just because some things like underground tours and things like that have limited capacity, the tickets do absolutely fly, and anybody who's a previous Heritage Open Days visitor who's listening to this podcast will know that they absolutely fly roughly in the first day. So if tickets are released on the 21st of August at 10 a.m, they will absolutely fly, but we have got lots and lots of brilliant events that you can just drop into on the day.
And I think that's what I'd probably say is, an amalgamation of them. If you can book the odd event, also there is so much that you can drop into, and actually you can make half a day's worth of it or day's worth of it, and you can go from one to the other. I think that's probably quite a nice way of doing it.
And I would say sort of challenge yourself as well. So if there's something that you think, that's not for me, I'm not quite sure about that, go and try that one. That's the one that's the event that you should be going to try. So if you're sort of familiar with Norwich Cathedral or the Castle or Blickling Hall, then obviously brilliant places to visit, and they've got lots of great events on, so go to those. But if there's something else that you think, that sounds a bit unusual, go to that one, because you might be surprised.
And there's nothing wrong with also spending the whole day somewhere. It's a bit like I've been looking at the Vintage Day in Wyndham this year, so they're going to be doing like tours of the town, and I think some buildings going to be open. There's some things you can do in the local orchard. But at the same time, why not have a picnic there, like by the river and things while you're there? Make a day of it.
Good tip.
Quite a nice idea. That's what I might try and do.
Oh, very good.
That's a lovely tip. And I think before we sort of close this this part of our chat, what are the details we need to know? Obviously, you've mentioned the brochure. Where can we pick the brochure up? What's the website address? Tell us the deets.
I'll start with the dates of the festival, which are Friday the 8th to Sunday the 17th of September. You can pick a brochure up from the Forum in Norwich, tourist information centres, all the local libraries, and some of the sites that are taking part in the programme, like the museums, will have them as well. You can find all the information online at norfolkheritageopendays.co.uk.
We can't leave you today, obviously, without asking you a little bit, probing you a bit more about Norfolk, because we are a podcast about Norfolk. So, really, individually, what I'd like you to try and tell us, if it's possible, is what's your favourite thing to do in Norwich or Norfolk? It could be a favourite restaurant, it could be a day out, could be a museum. If you could kind of boil it down, what was your favourite thing? It's a real tough one.
It's like having a favourite child. You can't possibly say one thing, isn't it? I say this because I've lived in Norfolk for 16 years, and I've just moved out actually to South Norfolk, but I used to live in the city for the first 14, 15 years that I was here, just off on Plank Road. And gosh, it was about 10 years before I discovered Plantation Gardens. I don't know how I missed it, but I just, when I first went in there, I could not believe that this sort of hidden gem of a garden was so close to the city centre, and just beautiful. And I've done a few things there. I've been to a outdoor cinema there. I've just gone for a walk. I've gone to have like tea and cake. Just met friends there, and yeah, I feel like I'm a bit hidden away when I go there, because the garden feels hidden. And it's just a little bit of a go-to place that I know I'm in Norwich, and I know I'm slap bang in the city centre, but I sort of feel like I'm in this kind of,
it's quite magical, isn't it?
Utopian kind of like garden, really. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, very good.
It's quite magical. I think that's a really good one. And actually, I keep saying we need to go. We've been to an outdoor cinema there, but we haven't been for ages, and I'd really like to go again, because it is a really beautiful little gem, I think, in the city. Oh, nice one. I like that.
For me, oh gosh, I mean, I love the city and the Norfolk, but actually last week I did this, but on a lovely day, and it's I'm a big lover of the Norfolk coast, really. I grew up in Norfolk, and a lot of my childhood was spent at Blakely Quay, and that is where I head to go crabbing, to, me and my son get in the water. If you want a bit more to the day, you can go out and see the seals. And, I love just grabbing a coffee and doing the simple things, if I'm honest, up at Blakely. That is my go-to, really. My escapism, anything by the water. Which is why I love Norfolk anyway, because I live near the board, and I just love it. I love Norfolk. Love where we live.
I think they're amazing
they're
tips.
great,
I think they're really nice, and they show the breadth. They showcase the breadth of the county has to offer. And it is really difficult. To be honest, most people that we ask that of say the coast or the sunsets and skies. We have that a lot as well. So
what I do love actually as well is that the little independents that you have in I love the fact there's so many independents that you have in Norwich. They're also actually now venturing out to these places, like Blakely, and the little village called Hayden and everything like that I go to. The little independent cafes and restaurants. I'm a big lover of those too.
Yeah,
Hayden's on my list. Definitely, Hayden's on our list as well. We haven't been there for a while. I've heard that the tea rooms always used to be amazing in Hayden, and then we haven't been for a while. But I've heard it's subsequently amazing, and it's that's a fab little place, and there's so much history there.
Yeah, and they do. They're doing like pizza nights on a Friday now.
Oh, nice. That's a very cool little place. I like Hayden. Yeah, and that's the thing. Norwich and Norfolk are absolutely full of it. Thank you very much. Yeah. That's been really enlightening, and it's whet our appetite more for HOD. We love HODs anyway, but I think it's really interesting talking to you ladies about it and hearing about what you've done. And I imagine that it's going to be a huge success, particularly because we're still we're so grateful, I think, that just things are happening after the pandemic, So I'm hoping that you'll have a really, really positive and big uptake. But I've seen all your promotion and stuff. And it's been amazing. So it certainly captured our interest. So we look forward to doing some things.
And thank you for organising this, because it must be a mammoth task. And thank you for organising these, because they wouldn't happen without people like yourself as well.
Give yourself a clap.
Thank you for having us both on. It's been really, really good fun. And we love what we do. And we're really lucky, to kind of work in this sector really and do this job. And our thanks are always to the amazing organisers and volunteers that put on the majority of the events around the county, and of course the visitors who go.
And the visitors,
Without the visitors, it wouldn't be in its 29th year. So
true.
And we love to know what they think as well, don't we? We love feedback and everything as well. It helps us.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
Well, it's really good talking to two people who are as passionate, if not more, about Norfolk HODs than we are.
No, and absolutely fascinating. HODs is fascinating, and the work they must put in.
Oh my goodness! I bet when come sort of middle of September, it must be really lovely, that little period before they have to start planning for next year. But as they said so many times, it is a real kind of collaboration of so many individuals across Norfolk, the institutions, the volunteers, and obviously it wouldn't be what it is without the public's participation. So we definitely urge you to kind of have a look, pick up a programme, go to the website, and see how you can get involved in Norfolk Heritage Open Days.
Yeah, definitely. Do you know what I love about that? In my youth, I probably wasn't that interested in history. I'd walk about, not worried about
caring about
anything really, carefree,
like a lot of teenagers possibly.
But now, when you get a bit older, I walk around everywhere and I want to know the history of everything, basically, all the buildings.
I don't know if it's necessarily an age thing. I think so. I was passionate about certain areas of history, but they were never the ones that were presented to us in, say, a school setting. So we didn't learn that much about things like the ancient Egyptians or the Tudors or cool, interesting bits of history, which are perfectly relevant. And I think it wasn't always provided in context. The thing I like about HODs is it's in context. It's literally on your doorstep. You can literally go there and see all the layers of history. So I think even because I see even with our youngest, you can captivate young minds and turn them towards history if it's presented in an engaging way. This most certainly is an event.
Yeah, I think what I'm trying to get across in my unique way is no matter what the age, like you said, no matter what the age, and there's so much history just around us, like you said, right on our doorstep.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That you can learn about, and HODs isn't just for like me, who's older. Yeah, it should be for everybody.
Yeah,
to get out there. You don't have to be interested in it. It's just interest in your local area.
Well, if you aren't interested already, it'll help stimulate that interest. I remember one year you took our youngest when he was preschool to loads of events. You really maxed it out. You ended up on some sort of barge. I can't remember what they were called. They're sort
a certain. It's one of the wherries, wasn't it?
That's it, a wherry. Yeah, it was a wherry. But it also, not linked to the last comment I made, but it was somehow linked to Egyptians, or it had an Egyptian. It was like an Egyptian-themed wherry or something. Yeah. Anyway, so you did loads of exciting events, but the best thing is they're all free, which is really, really nice. And also, especially in these times where we're having to be budget conscious, all of us, it's really great to find things to do that are free and interesting. Definitely. So it is a wonderful thing. What are you looking forward to most, Andrew? Is there anything that stands out for you from the brochure?
Always, and we tend to miss it, but we are going this year, is the Rosary.
The cemetery. Yes, yeah. Yes, we've wanted to go there for absolutely ages, and this year we've managed to secure places. It's a ticketed event. It's bound to be popular, and that's something we should say as well, is that obviously when this goes out, the tickets will have gone on... not on sale, but they went live, because they're free. Some of them, because of capacity numbers, they are ticketed. However, if you've missed out this year, obviously put a note in your diary to be ready for next year, because this is an annual event. Or there are still loads and loads of events that are free and drop-in. So have
which
a look
is
at
the
those.
cool thing about HODs.
Yeah,
a lot of it is drop-in. There are a few tickets to certain, and just book some. Just book one of the tickets
if there's anything left.
Well, there was yesterday.
Yeah.
So, but just get yourself ready for next year.
We normally, to be honest, I don't really remember doing many things we've booked on in the past, actually, and we've done all sorts of things. We've been up towers, we've been bell ringing, we've done all sorts of crazy stuff. So, so there should still be loads of things that you can get involved in if the tickets are all booked up. I'm looking forward to that as well. I do love I love a good old cemetery.
We love a graveyard, don't we?
We do. Hey? That sounds so morbid.
We've
but
got that
really,
book, haven't we? Who's Buried Where?
Yeah, I know. It's fascinating.
It really is.
It is fascinating. Yeah. So anyway, we urge you to get behind Heritage Open Days for so many reasons. Not least, it is a fantastic way of enjoying Norfolk on your doorstep for free. We will be back shortly, as we say, towards the end of the summer with a sort of a roundup of what we have been up to, what has kept us from you from actually delivering these podcasts. In the meantime, we are obviously active on our social media channels. You can find us on Enjoying Norfolk on Facebook, Instagram, Threads now, very modern and fancy.
I know, Threads.
Twitter or X. As it's
all getting a bit too much for me now.
And also obviously the website Enjoying Norfolk, where you can get yourself an Enjoying Norfolk card for discounts around the region, and also our sustainable Norfolk wear if you really want to wear your Norfolk heart on your sleeve. So there's plenty of ways to enjoy Norfolk in between these rather sporadic podcasts we're now dropping. But in the meantime, until we speak with you again soon, we hope you stay well.
Enjoy the rest of the summer.
Yes.
And bye-bye.
Bye.